Hello there, welcome to Target Radio Podcasts. Yes, we have a podcast for your ears. Every week here on the show, on our live shows that is, we try and get an interesting persons, artists, band members, music, poets, film playwrights. We even get, we'll try and get everyone. We'll try and get everyone that's interested in our genre of music that we portray here on Target Radio. So what we do is sit them down, we have a telephone interview, sometimes a live interview, and we discuss all things in their profession. So stay tuned here. This one is an absolute blast. You're going to love this, and I'll be back at the end to obviously, tell you what's coming up in the very near future. I am the pod father. I will now tell you that this is Target Radio Podcasts. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, and if you think we deserve it, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating. That would be rather nice. Thank you very much indeed. So, over to me. Sit tight and enjoy. This is Target Radio.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
Dear God in heaven, please let this show go okay, with no major boobs or goofs, or is it goofs? Please don't let me tread all over the intros of records, or say a naughty word.
So let's have fun.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. Hello, 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 and welcome to the show.
Lock it on to the best station on the net.
First we take a groovy record, then we add a super sound DJ.
Oh, Sean
The big DJ, the big DJ.
When do I get my badge?
And a very good evening. Better late than never. Few problems here at headquarters. But we're here now. That's the main thing. Anyway, time is just gone, 7:05. It's the 8th of November. On tonight's show, then, we got none other than the Chris Pope of the Chords UK. Yeah! Looking forward to our interview in about 7:30 this evening. Taking us up there, we got some fine and dandy music, you know. We got something from The Rising. We've also got something from The Speed of Sound. Couple of tracks from Kirby Walsh from their latest album, You Can't Go Back. And we might have something from Steve Smiley Barnard as well. We're going to be previewing 2 fine brand new songs from the Chords UK with Chris Pope. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That's a warning, by the way. If not, I'll get the heavies round. Anyway, how's lockdown treating you? Yeah, about the same here as well, thank you. Anyway, we move forwards, and we move in mysterious ways. Yes, we do. Okay, let's start the show off then with What I Hear You Cry. Well, there's no substitute for the real thing. See what I've done there? Don't forget, 7:30 this evening, Mr. Chris Pope. Looking forward to having a chat with Chris, see how things are with him. I got to tell you now, what a beautiful, beautiful opener on the brand new album from Kirby Walsh. You Can't Go Back. And that one was called Music Box. Thank you very much indeed, guys. Okay, we are on Facebook Live right now, and the reason why we're doing that will become apparently very clear as soon as we hear something from The Jam. Not from The Jam, but The Jam. Here we go. Okay, as promised, I've been chatting to one Miss Nikki Weller, and if everyone can see me now, hello. Right, okay, I'm opening this box up now. Can you see me with this big triangular Toblerone box? There we go. Lots of lovely tissue paper in there. Right, let's get my mic down a little bit here, and we're gonna pull a little bit of this out. Look, all wrapped up again in a lovely, hang on a minute, in lovely tissue paper. So we're just going to take the tissue paper off just for a second. I want to try and keep everything as it is. And we're going to open up this poster. Okay, I'm not going to open it all up because you've seen the picture. And as you can see now, this is signed. It is, look at that, look, it's signed from one Mr. PW, Mr. Paul Weller. Thank you very much indeed, Paul. Okay, I'm rolling this back up now because I don't want to open it any further than that. I'm going to wrap it back up in the tissue paper to keep it absolutely beautifully wrapped for you. Okay, I'm wrapping it back up and I'm putting it back inside this, hang on. I'm putting it back in this Toblerone box, okay? There are other chocolates out there available. So, here we go. I'm wrapping it all back up again for you. That is what you could win, okay? You could win this poster, okay? Now, I'm looking forward to raffling this off. There we go. I've kept it nice and safe now, okay? Alrighty. So, we're going to be opening up the bids next week for that fantastic one-off Jam poster featuring, of course, Paul Weller, Bruce Foxton, and, of course, the lovely man himself, Mr. Rick Buckler. That is signed by none other than Paul Weller, and every single penny is going to charity. We will get Nikki Weller on with us next week to explain a little bit more about the charity, and hopefully we can raise much needed funds for that so-called charity, okay? We'll leave it with Nikki Weller for next week, but that is the poster. It's all signed, and it's ready to hang in somebody's wall, okay? On somebody's wall, I should say. So that lucky person, if you've got enough money, we will be raffling it off next week. I'll tell you what I'm ready to do now. I'm ready to play a Chris Pope and the Chords UK, and this one is called, well, I can get my hand over there, Welcome to My World. This is the time of the show now where things can go horribly, horribly wrong. Okay, pressing some buttons. According to this, I think we're going to have Chris Pope at the other end of this noise. Ready?
Hello, hello.
There he is, Mr. Chris Pope himself. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you, right?
I'm all right. I'll tell you what, that's a blinder, isn't it? That last song I just played for you. Welcome to my world.
Oh, yeah, well, yes, that's a nice little tune, hopefully.
I like it, I like it. And the thing is, though, it's not true now because I've played it on the radio.
Oh, right.
What's the opening lyric? Apparently, you're going to break your heart because it doesn't get any airplay. Is that right? Something on those lines.
Yeah, it was a bit of a cheeky one, that, so...
Oh, there we go. Full sense of security straight away. So we play it, and then the tune's rubbish then. It doesn't mean anything. No, I'm only kidding. I love it. It's really catchy.
Sorry?
It's really, really catchy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, it's coming out with the other track, listen to the radio, with a sort of double A side, you know.
Indeed.
They do these sort of things these days.
Well, why not indeed? Why not indeed? We'll play that one at the end of our interview today, Chris, but it's great to have you back on board. I mean, last time we spoke to you, you had a dodgy mobile phone, was that right?
I've probably still got that one.
Oh, for goodness sake, what you like? Apparently you couldn't see anything on the screen, if I remember rightly. Was that the one?
Probably. That's me in technology, so there you go.
Oh, it's great to hear you anyway. How are you, mate?
Good. All things considered, you know, what's going down in the world and all that stuff. But,
it's a crazy, crazy world out there.
It certainly is at the moment, but yeah, I'm you know, like everyone else, just got to get on through with it. Keep calm and carry on, mate.
Keep calm, carry on, wear a mask, and then you know, keep 2 meters away from people, and then
That's right.
yeah, you can have a bubble or something. I thought that was a laugh, but apparently not.
Yeah,
and then you can team up with 6 people as long as you know them all.
Yeah, it's just on a Sunday afternoon in the rain, or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I think that was the small print I didn't read. So it didn't rain today, fortunately, where I am. So, so how's things for you musically?
Well, we got this it's quite hard been getting in the studio this year. Obviously, you know, things
of course,
and change around. And we've meant to have an album out September, October, but obviously we've got to put it back to next year now because I kind of putting stuff out now is a bit weird, you know, a whole album, but we actually couldn't get it finished because it was locked down there from March to about June, July, where we usually record stuff, and obviously, you know, it's getting in when you can and when it's safe. In terms of that, we've got, you know, there's 20 or 30 tracks now to do for an album, so we can pick and choose, which is great. You'll get a bit more time to work on things and decide what you want on the record. So other than that, we're meant to be playing on Saturday in Guildford, which obviously got called off at the last minute, well, the last 2 or 3 days, so that was a bit gutting. But same as anyone else, really. Got to, you know, see what happens and bash on through, really.
Absolutely. I mean, sorry, I was just taking a swig of my my water there. Yes, I'm trying to keep fit and healthy. Yeah, it's a problem all round, though. I mean, obviously, live music's been killed off yet again, just as it was starting to make a sort of, can we say, a loose comeback? Because obviously, you guys were doing a sort of social distance, concert, if you like, you know, a live event. Obviously, everyone's sitting down, no one's going to get up and sort of dance and stuff. And obviously, then table side sort of service and things. But at least they got to hear, you know, people like your good self out there playing live music, which is pretty much what this is all about, really. You know, getting your music out there, getting it heard, and people seeing you, and you know, promoting what you play.
Yeah. I mean, that's where everyone starts in music. You start, you know, rehearsing with a band to go out and play songs.
Absolutely,
so everything else goes around it, you know, like videos or recordings or, you know, stuff like that. But initially, that's what you want to do is get out and play it, and it hasn't changed for me. But at the moment, it's just very difficult, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, obviously, some bands out there—I won't mention the bands, obviously, but some bands out there have taken the source of inspiration and started putting some sort of music video things together. What about yourself? Have you thought about that at all?
Well, we've actually got the new single's got a video to it, and working with a guy who works with us a lot on doing some sort of stuff. A kind of like live watch party, but that'll be around Christmas time, so hopefully something will come out around then.
There we go. Something under your Christmas tree, ladies and gentlemen. Something in your stocking. There we go. Yeah, you're going to get a hairy leg from Chris Pope in your stocking.
That's right.
Well, you could always shave it. You never know. Brilliant. Oh, that's something to look forward to then in these trying times at the moment. And moving forward, obviously, you know, when lockdown ceases, which apparently is supposed to be the 2nd of December of this year, have you got any sort of plans to sort of go out and try and do something?
I'm in the studio for 3 days between then and Christmas.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, I really want to get forward and get this album finished. And,
of course.
Get some stuff out, another single out in March or February, March, and then the album out hopefully in the spring. And then by then, would have thought or hoped there'll be some live dates for everybody to do, you know?
That would be great, really, to be fair, because I think a lot of people, I mean, we all say, you know, oh, I don't think I'll go out Saturday night. I don't think I'll go out Saturday night. Yeah. When someone tells you that you're not allowed to go out on a Saturday night or any other night, people are saying, well, I want to go out and watch live music. I think everyone's gagging at the bit now to get it back to some sort of normality and get out there and enjoy live music from wherever it comes from, really, now. I think everyone wants it. I know for me, I definitely do.
Yeah, I mean, it's great release for everybody, you know, whether you're in the band or you know, going to see a band, it's just a great night out. It's never changed, is it? So
no, of course not. No,
it's simple and it's effective, but it works. That's rock and roll, mate.
Well, that's it, absolutely. And obviously, you've been in the game now for just a few years, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah. About 2, yeah.
About 2 now, so you're finding your way around.
That's right, yeah.
So when did you first start getting involved in music then, Chris?
When did I start getting involved in music?
Yeah, and when did you first realise that music was your thing?
I've always just loved music ever since I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
There was music around my house when I was growing up. But about 13, 14, I sort of got hold of a guitar. My brother had a guitar and I sort of borrowed it and nicked it off him. And just wanting to play them, and I always want to write songs as well. I mean, it's nice playing covers, and when you start out in the band, but the whole point for me is getting your own stuff there and going. So really, I'm like 14, 15, you know, and just keep on until I'm now at the grand old age of 34. You said lying.
There we go. Yeah, through your teeth.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously mentioning sort of music writing and stuff like that. Tell all our lovely listeners then, how do you start? I mean, obviously there must be some youngsters out there listening right now. You better be, honestly. I told them to listen. How does it all work then? I mean, obviously, when do you know you're actually writing or penning, as they say in the trade, penning a decent song or indeed some lyrics? How do you know when you've got something to work with?
You could probably write a lot of songs and they'd be like, you go, that's okay. I mean, it's just my opinion. It's like, no, go, that's okay. But there's like 2 or 3 on an album. You go, right, they're the ones. They're the ones going to be single. These are the ones we're going to just hone in on. And you kind of know it if you've got a good title and you've got a good melody. Yeah. If you've got a good chorus melody and you've got a hook that goes around it and you've got a decent lyric that fits with it, then you know you've got a song that's kind of probably up there and better than, say, maybe other stuff you've got. But that's only what I know. But then it's kind of like, I don't know what's good, what people might go to me. I prefer that song to the other song that I think is great. So it's nice in a way, you know. You don't really know yourself because you're just out there trying your best to write the best songs, you know. And
I suppose that's going right away, sort of round, you know, all the way round to sort of like a full circle where you go out and gig these songs, you know, these new ones that you've penned and sort of rehearsed, and see what the audience reactions are like, I suppose, which obviously at the moment you can't do.
No, I mean, you always gauge, but we usually go out and we did a tour last year, and we started out with one set with like 12, 15 songs, and then by the 4th night we did in Manchester, we rearranged it, booted 4 out and brought 4 in, and then you go, right, these are the ones that get, you know, the great reaction, and this is it. So you kind of hone it as you're going along. You never know what the reaction can be to a song, but you know, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely, definitely. And you mentioned we, so obviously there's more than just yourself there, Chris, so give the band a little mention and who does what.
Well, we've got Kenny Cooper on the drums, Stanley Ken, and Stanley Mickey on the guitar. Mick Stone was in the band. He was playing bass for 10 years with us, and he's gone off to play with the Hot Rods. So we've got a guy called Ricky from the Mendicant Ang playing bass at the moment.
Excellent.
So that's what the band is.
Fantastic. And they, all the lads okay, are they? No problems with the COVID or anything like that?
No, not as far as I think. The problem was alcohol, but that's
Perhaps that's the medicine we all need. You don't know. Yeah. Perhaps that was warding off the old COVID-19. I know from my experience from work and everything, you know, we've got to go for a rigmarole now before we do our deliveries. Apparently we're supposed to be in lockdown, but we're still bloody delivering. But there we go, you know, we just sort of go through all of these sort of like a checklist now, and we had a guy just last week saying, oh, well, actually, I'm just self-isolating at the moment, but yeah, it's all right, you can still come in. No, we can't. It's really weird, you know, all of these, you know, the simplicity of life were way before COVID came along, and now obviously everything's changed for every single person. This has affected every single life. It's not just a few select few or half the country, it's the whole world.
Yeah, I mean, they're all in this together, aren't we? I mean, some people don't think they are, but I mean, in the end, it's like everyone's got to look after each other. I mean, it's kind of the great lever in life, isn't it? So
absolutely.
It's kind of like, you know, the quicker we all just do basically stay safe, you know, and it's going to hopefully get rid of this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Or they find some sort of antibody or vaccine or something like that that we can all take once a year, like the flu jab. You know, when you're a certain age, you've got to take the flu jab, or you know, you're supposed to take the flu jab as such. You know, and it helps obviously combat the next strain or next year's sort of flu. So, you know, obviously it's in that sort of strain in that group. So, you know, I'm just hoping, like you say, that we can get through this part of it and then start, you know, returning back to some sort of normality, you know, just for, you know, normal day-to-day life. And then obviously for us, you know, working hard during the week, for us to go out and spend some, you know, pennies at the pub or, you know, clubs and stuff like that and seeing great musicians like yourself play.
Yeah, I mean, it's what everyone wants to do, isn't it? You know, it's just
absolutely.
Make life simple, go to work and then go out and play, you know.
Absolutely.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
As one Paul Weller said, work Monday to Friday nights and trying to paint on the smell of soap.
indeed.
There we go. So, moving forward then, obviously, you've got something in the pipeline, obviously, just before Christmas and into the new year, concentrating on the album and everything. You mentioned a tour. Fingers crossed for this. Any sort of dates or, venues yet, or is it all sort of still up in the air?
No, it'll be up in the air. When I can get the album finished and then, talk to a promoter and say if it's next May, we'll obviously do a tour. May or June, if not, if it's October, November, it works around that. It's kind of like getting into where it is. I mean, it's in terms of like dates. I mean, there's people booking dates for next April and May. They're being optimistic. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being realistic. It's you got to be looking at it and saying next summer onwards, really, for big tours and lots of dates. But I could be wrong. Hopefully, I am. You know what I mean?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I suppose if we're not in any sort of lockdown or anything like that, I suppose open air sort of events may be able to go ahead. And obviously, if we can get the fine weather, there's nothing stopping, Chris Pope and Chords UK going out into some sort of field or a woodland area and playing, as long as you can get some, a generator and some power to power the electric guitar and everything.
Yeah, I think by next summer people will start moving at the, it's what fits and how they're going to try and do things, because you're right, they'd be like, you get 2 or 3 bands put on a show like that, then everyone's going to come to it because it's just going to be great. It'll be something to work to.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I spoke to a good friend of yours earlier today, and he just wanted to say a hello to you, and I'm talking about Mr. Rick Bardsley. He says, "Hello, Chris." He says, "How is he?" And I said, "Well, I'll ask on your behalf." So there you go. Rick wants to know, how are you?
I'm very well. Tell Rick he's a top man. I met him up in Blackpool about 2 or 3 years ago.
Correct,
he's a geezer.
Yeah, he's a geezer. He's a lovely fella, full of energy, and I might as well let the cat out of the bag a bit now. Russian Rick, as his nickname is, yeah, that's it. He's working very, very closely with us here at Target Radio now. Yeah. We're actually building on Target Radio to do some bigger things in the very near future. So obviously once this COVID, like yourself, sort of goes and does one, we will be doing a lot more stuff, hopefully in the very near future, as in more live shows, and doing stuff like that, and obviously helping promote, artists such as yourself, and even maybe doing some live broadcasts with you guys as well, not just you, but obviously other artists out there as well that, want that. So, everything's on sort of like a stall at the moment. Nothing's sort of moving forward. It's very, very still. I'm just trying to keep the sort of like, the morale going by interviewing such, people as yourself and playing some really great music that, guys are working tirelessly in sort of studios and rehearsing at home, and obviously doing all the other bits, Zoom video conferencing and Skypes and video messaging and stuff like that. I suppose you've been using all of that, yeah?
Yeah, Microsoft Chat and all that. It's all become a virtual world, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has.
The office is gone. It's a home office, and it's a new world, as they say.
Absolutely. Right, okie dokie. Now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then what we're going to do then, we're going to have a little bit of fun with yourself, Chris, if I may.
Okay.
I thought we might do a little TV quiz thing, and just to see how many you can get in a few seconds' time. I'm just going to get the disc ready because I've got them on CD, because I'm very sad. So we're going to make it nice and easy for you first. But just before we go on, what's your sort of TV preference when you're not listening to music, or indeed playing music?
TV preference. Watching Arsenal when they're not losing.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm in that field as well. Did they win today, by the way? I can't remember.
They're playing now at the moment. I don't know the score. I'm going to try and keep away from it and sit up to 10:30 and watch your match today, because I'm a traditionalist.
Right. I was just about to get it up on the interweb, but I won't. I will not now do that for you. So, right. Okay, that's filled a stopgap while I was pressing a few buttons there. So, if you get this one, I'll be very surprised. Okay, so here we go then, and you can all shout at the radio if you wish, and obviously as soon as you know, just shout out the answer there, Chris. Right, here we go then. First track coming up. I've got to stop it in a second.
No, don't know.
You do know, you just don't want to embarrass yourself, do you?
It sounds like an American thing for the 50s or 60s, but I could be wrong.
So that was Barney and Friends. I'm surprised you didn't get that one. He's doing well so far, ladies and gentlemen. How about this one? What he's thinking.
Oh, sounds like Ben Hur or something, but I'm totally wrong.
No, totally wrong. Think science fiction.
I'm not big on sci-fi. So,
Right, okay, that was Blake's... Oh, where are we going with that?
Blake 7,
Blake 7, yes, indeed,
well,
right.
I got 7 right, so there you go.
There we go, you got one right. A little bit of help from me, but... Okay, try this one. This is maybe a little bit more up to speed.
Brookside.
There is Brookside! Well done. Okay, let's maybe do a couple more. Play ya bugger.
Is it Man About the House or something?
It's in that sort of era, but think more children's. Think more sort of children's TV. No, don't know. Magpie. Oh no, great call though. Great. I used to love Magpie. That was Catweasel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I used to love a bit of Catweasel. I never knew what really it was all about. Okay, we'll play. Just play one more, I think. Okay, so we're gonna do this one. Actually, it's got quite a long intro, but it's really, really good.
I haven't a clue, but it sounds like some Miami Vice type thing from the 80s. I'm obviously wrong.
Well, you're half there. It's definitely from the 80s.
Yeah. It's not the horrible Top of the Pops theme that they changed from the
No, definitely not. It was starred an Englishman, but it was in New York, and no, it wasn't Sting.
Englishman in New York. Callan or something. No,
close. Starred Edward Woodward.
Yeah, Iwa.
Iwa.
That's it. Shall I call a friend or can I
you can ask the audience, but I don't think there's any there.
No.
It was called The Equalizer.
Oh, well, I got him, so there you go.
You were close enough. There we go. I used to love that, actually. Again, I sort of really didn't know what it was all about.
No. A bit like me at the moment.
Yeah.
That's Barry Norman's thing, film 80, whatever it was.
Well, it was from 72 to 98. Oh, but you got one of the years, right? There we go. Film 80, we'll give you that one. There we go. Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much indeed for joining in on that bit of silliness. Right, back to business then. So we found out a little bit about Chris Pope, and obviously now just tell us about the sort of the Chords and the difference between the Chords and obviously now the Chords UK. Apart from obviously the the lineup,
the UK
and the UK bit.
I think if we went to Japan, Australia as the Chords in 2010 or 12.
Yeah.
Billy was playing, obviously, he lives in Japan, and I said to Billy that I wanted to carry on because we could only do it every 2 or 3 years with him, and it was one, it was something I wanted to do on a regular basis until I wanted to do new songs.
Yeah.
And I think we kept the thing with a couple of guys in the band. Brett, you didn't really want to be in it, and so the attitude was, well, to say it was the Chords would be wrong.
Yeah.
But to say it wasn't the Chords would be wrong as well, because it's my songs that I'm playing. If you go and see the band, we play like 6 or 7 or 8 of the singles and a couple of tracks from the album. But I wanted to put new stuff in it and bring a new band in and have the songs there. So we sort of thought, well, to say it's the Chords, it's not really there. But the Chords UK, it's kind of like it is the band, but it's a new kind of version of it.
Yeah, of course. Sense? Yeah, like the Chords 2.0 or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like people progress and do things, and it's just kind of like, maybe saying the band that was there in 1980, but it's off that field because I wrote the stuff and it's how I want to approach it and go forward with it.
Indeed. And you were signed, weren't you, to what label was it?
And we're on Polydor.
That's right, same as the Jam.
Yeah, it didn't really help us much, but having a major record deal when you're 18, you're not going to sniff about it, you know what I mean?
Of course, absolutely. I suppose, when you got the record label, did you think you made it?
Well, but it kind of like, it was like, so it happened so fast for us. I mean, we'd formed in like January properly of that year, and then by March and April, we were all the labels all jumping over us, so it was kind of weird. And then a year later, on Top of the Pops, and it's, you think you kind of like, it's going so fast, you don't really think about it until it's gone, you know?
Yes, of course, absolutely. I suppose it's sort of a whirlwind of a ride, and then obviously it sort of stops as quickly as it started, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit strange for a band who had a top 30 album not to have progressed to another one, but we're kind of like, music was moving very, very fast at the time in terms of genres and styles, and by 80, 81, maybe around that time, you had New Romantic and stuff like that, and whether we kind of fitted into the whole thing was, in terms of where the record music press probably thought we hadn't, so that's the reason why we kind of came to it, and then it wasn't nothing to do with the music, it was to do with the things going around the band, you know?
Yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely. So you didn't fancy wearing flares and, girls' blouses and putting loads of makeup on then?
No, that kind of my thing, no.
No, definitely not. Well, not only on a Saturday night. Right, anyway.
You see me there. Anyway.
Oh, fantastic. And what was it like on Top of the Pops? You just mentioned Top of the Pops, so I thought I'll ask you.
It was great. I mean, it's kind of a bit plastic, to be honest. You're there and you don't play it live. You can't even sing it live because it was what it was. That's the way the MU was working them days. Yeah. And the great thing about it was there was a bar there. And because you have to play live, you get a bit tiddly before you go on and play it. So, and we end up getting drunk, very drunk, with Bon Scott from AC/DC and Malcolm from the band one time, and the second time I think with Lemmy from Motorhead.
Oh, so they great Lemmy. Oh, and I heard rumours. I mean, a friend of mine's mum went to be part of the audience there, and apparently the security there or whatever they were in charge of the actual audience said, right, you got to do this, you got to do that, and if you don't do this, you're out, and things like that. Is that true?
Well, I mean, I can't remember. It's a long time ago. But
of course.
It was pretty stringent. I mean, you didn't dance around. You were like, well, why are you here? You know, that's their kind of attitude. So
yeah, of course, yeah. Absolutely. And apparently you're not allowed to look at the camera and things like that, and obviously, it's all about the artist, which of course it is, I mean, we used to all tune in Top of the Pops, I think it was a Thursday evening, and to watch obviously our favourites and stuff like that, and I do recall you guys being on it, and I wish I could find a YouTube video. I haven't actually had a chance to find it and see if I could replay it back to you guys, but it's probably just playing the record, because obviously, apart from a little bit of screaming and shouting at the beginning, it's actually just playing the single, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You kind of like you mime into it in that thing, and which is that's what that was standard procedure, wasn't it, for like 40 years? So you can't knock it. I mean,
absolutely,
probably the best show there was. It stands out now. People, get rose tinted about it, but it was a great show because it was very. You'd have different bands on it, different styles, it was just crazy, Oh,
yeah, well, I mean, one minute you had, like, your good selves on there, and the next minute you had Bonnie Tyler, for instance, who would have imagined that? Totally different styles, different genre, and totally different music playing, So, like you said, it was a little bit for everything there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the second time we were on it, it was the Nolans, then us, then Motorhead. I mean, you're not going to get that, are you,
And you mentioned about drinking with obviously Lemmy from the late great Lemmy. I mean, did you have a drink with the Nolans as well? Because I heard the Irish do like to have a little drink.
Around. No.
Oh,
no, one of them did fall off the stage when they were doing that song, which was quite funny. I'm in the mood for dancing, and she fell off the stage. I hope she was all right, but I mean, it was funny at the time.
Well, of course it was. I mean, obviously, I think I remember that as well. My God, I'm showing my age now. And I used to love Top of the Pops, and I was so disheartened a few years later when I found out that, hang on a minute, why is nothing plugged in?
Yeah.
And that was a common thing then going around school. See Top of the Pops last night? Yeah. I saw so-and-so playing his so-and-so, and it wasn't plugged in, though. So they obviously weren't playing it, were they? They went, well, duh, obviously not. I only found out a few weeks before, and I was making out that I knew all along. I didn't, because it was so cleverly done, the cuts, the edits, and, the very 80s sort of sketching on it and everything else. But it was good, it was entertaining, like you say, it was something there for everyone, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, it was every 7:20 or every time it came on Thursday, I think it was like 20 million people watching it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, insane.
Oh my goodness me! And do you remember who the compares were? You usually used like Radio 1 DJs at the time, didn't they?
Steve Wright
in the afternoon.
That's right, and Tommy Vance, I think, was doing.
Tommy Vance in his leather pants. Oh,
yeah, leather pants. Yeah, he got Lemmy. He was more of a heavy metal guy, wasn't he? So.
He was very much the croaky voice man.
Yeah.
He had a very deep, raspy voice, didn't he? But I used to love Tommy Vance. He was great. He was, and obviously Steve Wright's still around. He's on some sort of radio station, but not a good one anyway. But we won't go into that. Oh, fantastic!
Talking of old DJs, we're on the Heritage chart at the moment, at number 24. Which
Yes,
is,
I know. I saw that.
It's I think Mike Reed and some does the sort of thing there, and they do Dr. Fox, all these sort of people on it. So it's kind of like nice to be on a chart at my age. So I'm very happy about that.
Absolutely. Just to burst your bubble a little bit, you know, Dr. Fox. He's not a real doctor, you know.
Yeah, I know. Well, there you go.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but Dr. Fox is not actually a real doctor. He's just called Dr. Fox for some apparent reason, but there we go. I've no idea why. Now, have you ever been on the Tube or the old Grey Whistle Test at all?
No, the Tube was we sort of split up by the time the Tube came along. And the Whistle Test, I think we were meant to be on it, and you know how it gets. Then we got pulled from it. So, no, I haven't been into them two. We did do Checkers Plays Pop, though, which outweighs them both.
Oh, come on, a little bit of Cheggers, the late great Keith Chegwin. Oh, my goodness me. I remember seeing, I think it was The Truth. They were up on scaffolding or something. I think that was Cheggers Plays Pop or something like that. Or one of them children's shows. And I remember speaking to Mick Lister about that. And he said to me, they're absolutely petrified because there was no real apparent health and safety back then. And they were absolutely, they were like, oh, we're going to fall, we're going to fall, we're going to fall. So what sort of crazy things did you do with Cheggers?
I think it was we played with that band Martha and the Muffins at Echo Beach.
Oh, yeah, I used to love Martha and the Muffins.
And it's a bit crazy when you're playing and all these kids are screaming, you can't even hear the music. She's there, and he comes bounding on and starts saying something. It's bizarre. It's quite funny.
Yeah. He did come across a really funny guy. I never had a chance to meet him myself, but it was one of the guys. I think he was sort of like Mr. So annoying that he really wanted to meet him to see if he was really like that in real life, and I think he was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall it that much, but I mean, it was just a fun show. Let me be polite about it.
Oh, that's great. Great memories, though. And, there's not so much of that around now, is there? There's no sort of like children's shows for music as such, no entertainment for music either, like, coming back into this sort of century now. And it is a shame, really. I think, the more musical exposure, you guys could get, it helps, doesn't it? Whether it's a radio interview or, a live TV show or something like that. There's just nothing there no more, is it? I mean, it's just sort of like clubs, pubs and, and out on the streets and stuff like that, or, in fields and woods.
Yeah, I think what the internet's done is split everything. There's people, all over the world doing stuff as opposed to back in the 80s, you're talking about Top of the Pops, there was like 3 TV stations, 2 or 3 weekly music papers. So you kind of like had a gauge of what was going on. Now it's kind of like, it's just like, wow, everything's everywhere, which is good because, I mean, without the internet, without, say, your station, I wouldn't be talking to anyone and we wouldn't have the record out. So, it's kind of like, it's great.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's just one of those things, really. I'm just looking at something here that something to put something on there. No, that's nothing to do with what we're doing with today. So I just thought someone had posted a question there for you, but no one had put a question up there. So never mind. Okay, so we move forward. Right, okie dokie. Yeah, so going with TV and stuff like that. There's just nothing out there at the moment. Like you said, I mean, the internet now is sort of like your best and worst enemy at the same breath, I suppose.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, it's so big and so vast. It's like, how can you, expect people to watch your video when there's a billion other things going on at the same time? So,
and I'll tell you what, even though lockdown happened the first time round and people were posting up like live video feeds and music and this, that and the other, I just thought naturally that Facebook was going to explode, Twitter was going to implode, and all the other sort of like social media sites just weren't going to work. It did. How they done it, I don't know. And I mean, hats off to those technology buffs out there that actually sort of do this for a living. But, oh my God, we were inundated with music from bands, artists, we were, how can I say, spoilt for choice. And sometimes too much is too much, and I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean, you watch something and then something else comes out and you think, oh, well, I can't be in 2 places at the same time. And then, there's 30,000 other things going on as well at the same time that you know about or know some of it, and you just can't split yourself in that many places. So it must be a minefield for you guys, trying to get music out there, getting music across and getting people to sort of like listen to your music as well. I mean, obviously you've got to go and fall back on a little bit of history there as well, where you've come from in the past, and trying to bring that with you as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. It's kind of 6 of 1, isn't it? Like I went back to the point, whereas if it was music was run by record companies like it used to be in the 80s and 90s, like it's a monopoly, and they've only got a certain amount of artists that they're going to sign and promote. So if you're not in that bag, you're just playing local pubs, you're getting nowhere. And now, because you can get your music out there, but everyone's got their music out, which is kind of great, but you're fighting against a billion other things. So you can only put out what you think's great and put a video out, and hopefully you put the best song out at a particular time, and basically hope for your best.
Well, absolutely. I mean, obviously, while we're on the subject of other bands and artists out there, has anyone caught your eye over the last few weeks, months, when we've been in lockdown, out of lockdown, and now back in lockdown? Have you come across anyone on the internet that you think, oh, actually, they're really good, or she's really great, or he's really doing well? Is there anyone that you'd like to mention that,
Well, I actually like the Moon's new album, which is came out a couple of weeks ago. It's the guy, I think he plays in Weller's band, and I'd seen him before 2 or 3 years ago, but they brought a new album out which is quite different. So I'm into that at the moment.
Excellent, lovely. Right, we'll have to have a little look at that and see if we can get some of that music for a later show, and hopefully try and get the guys on there as well and find out a little bit more about it. And I mean, we speak to them and say, well, Chris Pope listens to you, so we thought we'd get you on. I mean, that's a great endorsement straight away, because obviously, some of these younger bands out there, they look up to people like your good self there, Chris, for inspiration, help and guidance. So,
right.
I mean, a mentor as well, really, I suppose.
Oh, well, that's very nice.
No, indeed. I think, when we're sort of like, I'm not saying passing the torch, but maybe sharing the torch a little bit, because obviously, you're still producing really great music. I mean, that last track we just heard, it's absolutely fantastic. And the track we're going to play shortly, equally as good, say, it's a double A side. For those that don't actually know, you're too young to know what we're actually talking about here, double A sides. Actually, I'm going to leave it to you, Chris, to explain what a double A side is.
Well, I'm not sure this is going to be a double A side, but if it is, it's you have 2 tracks, you can't decide which one's better than the other. So you go right, okay, well, we'll call it a double A side. And both tracks are kind of like on equal parity in terms of how what you're trying to do with them. But with this one, I think it's coming out an American label called Big Stir, which is on December the 4th, and they're going with "Listen to the Radio" as their main track. But over here, I'm going to get some CDs done around the same time, the first week in December, and both tracks will be on that. So everyone can, if they want to get a copy of it, can do.
Absolutely. And while we're on the subject of how to get copies, then where do we go and purchase these fine quality CDs that you're going to be mass producing for the masses?
For the masses, probably if you go to Facebook the first week of December, click on Shop there, which we've got one that will take you to the Pope Music site, or you can get it on Bandcamp, which will, I think a lot of people go to Bandcamp and get the stuff there.
Yep.
And in January, probably early January, February-ish, you'll be able to get it on Amazon when it gets onto that. So basically from Facebook, the Chords UK Facebook site.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll try and post up a little link on that a little later on in the evening as well, so people can just come direct to me, and then obviously put the link up and then come over to you as well, so they can they reserve anything yet, or is it not? Is it a little bit too soon?
It's a bit soon. I mean, it's kind of coming out digitally on December the 4th, and then I'm going to release it probably around the same time, but I won't be able to get the records or CDs in stock yet, so it's going to be a little Christmas present for a few people.
Oh, there we go. Not only are you going to get a leg of Chris Pope, you might even get the CD as well under your tree. How about that? That sounds absolutely fantastic, buddy. I mean, we're doing what we can, I suppose, in these challenging times at the moment, and like I said, once this raging sort of virus goes and does one, or at least, we can start living again, I just can't wait to come and see you guys play next year. Hopefully, if everything goes well, sometime in the summertime. That will be absolutely fantastic, Chris, because you are a good entertainer as well. I mean, you get some really good bands, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to name them, obviously, and they stand up there and they play some really great music, but they're not warm. They, I've seen a few bands that, will stand up there, they play great music, but they're not entertaining. You do everything there. You really get the crowd going. You wire them up. You get them excited. You talk to them. You have time for them. And that, for me, makes a really good entertainer stroke singer-songwriter. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
No,
That's
you're
my
very
best.
welcome. All deservedly earned by your good self, Chris, and of course the rest of the band as well. Because we keep forgetting about them. They're there.
They put a shift in. I'm telling you, they've over the years, the last few years, it's not easy when you've got a full-time job to get out on the Tuesday night in the pissing rain, go to the rehearsal room, and then I'm not moaning about it, but I mean. It's for them, to do it. I'm really chuffed that I've got a band that's as great as they are,
Absolutely, yeah. Behind every great singer, there's a great band as well. So remember that, next time you sort of like start thinking, right, okay, well, I love Chris Pope. Well, think about the other guys as well. Come on, because I don't see them awfully a lot on Facebook. Is that right?
I think they're thereabouts. I mean, they might be a bit more low key than me.
Yeah.
But they're out and about.
Absolutely. What is this? I keep getting these silly little messages come up, and it's nothing to do with what we're talking about. Silly woman, go away. Now, I've got an announcement to make while I've got you on here, because I believe that you know Mr. Paul Weller. Is that right?
Do I know him?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a drink with him back years ago, but I have known Paul, yes.
Well, Paul and his lovely sister Nikki Weller have given me a message to everyone out there about the Jam and about the Young Idea, which they were doing a sort of an exhibition in Brighton, but unfortunately couldn't go ahead. So they've given me a poster, a one-off poster, and it's been signed by none other than Paul Weller, and they want us to raffle that off and give all the proceeds to charity. So I just wanted to mention that one more time, whilst I've got obviously the masses here and loads of listeners as well, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be doing that next week as well. But for this week, we are talking to Chris Pope from the Chords UK, previously the Chords. It's all rather confusing. It's like the Jam and from the Jam, isn't it?
Yes, I guess so. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, you're sort of like, and no disrespect from the Jam, but when I'm playing a record and I'm saying, right, I'm playing something now from the Jam. I mean, the Jam, it gets rather confusing. But if I play something from the early part of the 80s, we know it's the Chords. And if I play something today, it's the Chords UK. So I think you've hit the nail really on the head there. It really works well.
Oh, thank you. I mean, like I said before, it's kind of like taking what we had and keeping the hopefully dynamic and the power of it, and just moving it into how I want to play, or we want to play the music, ourselves now.
Absolutely.
To it,
Absolutely. I mean, all your music, if I dare I say this, and I don't mean this any sort of disrespect at all, all your music has that same sort of catchy melody. Is that something you purposely put in there on every single one of your songs?
Well, I try. I mean, to me, I grew up listening to the Beatles and the Kinks, its melody was, because the technology wasn't there to get used big drum sounds and synthesizers and stuff like that. They worked with 4 tracks, and it was kind of harmonies and vocals and guitars and basically the top end melody, and that's how I grew up with music. And I just try my best to actually write a good melody. I don't see a point in a song that hasn't got something you can't sing to. Then it's just not what I like. I mean, a lot of people do like different type of music. That's fair enough, but not from moi.
No, indeed. And I'm a fan of sort of story songs as well, like Waterloo Sunset, for instance, we mentioned the Kinks there. Yeah. What about yourself?
Definitely. I mean, they can be hard to write, but there's some stuff hopefully over the years I've kind of tried to write in the, not so much in the first person, the third person, and take someone else's Connor's life and put it up there in a song,
Yeah, of course. And while we're talking about writing, I ask this pretty much of most of our guests that come on, obviously that are writers for songs and stuff like that. How do you start then? I mean, it's a real minefield for me, because obviously I'm not a singer and I'm certainly not a songwriter by any means. And I always find it, I think, should I pen a song and get someone to sing it for me? Because I'm dreadful, honestly. Even in the shower, I sound terrible. So I thought to myself, how do you do it? How do you start something? So for you, that question really is, how do you get a song to live? How does it work?
By accident, mainly.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
If you sit down and try, to me, if I sit down and try, I'm going to write a song that's going to be like a song I like, or like a feel or a genre, I can't do it. I mean, if I sit down and play acoustic guitar, and 9 times out of 10 nothing comes. One time, that's a nice melody. That's good. Then I'll work a verse around it or a chorus, and I'll put it on my iPhone and leave it there and go back to it.
Yeah.
And by which time I might have got a title. that fits the song, and that's it to me. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, you know, or making a cake. You've got to get the right ingredients.
Of course, yeah.
Everything's got to fit into its place, hopefully, you know.
Absolutely. And I spoke to Steve Smiley Barnard last week, and do you ever have an epiphany at sort of 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning? You've got to get up and write it down.
I have, but my wife has a right go at me about that nowadays. So let's do that now.
Oh dear. Hello, Mrs. Pope, if you're listening. Give her a little mention. Oh, that is fantastic. Right, so listen to the radio. Now, how did this song come about?
It's a couple of years old now. It was started off just a song without any title. So, and then I started thinking about. When I was a kid in the 70s, in the summer, you know, you just kind of like on the beach when you know your mum and dad, and we used to have transistor radios them days, and so you'd be listening to like Radio 1 or whatever it was, and just grew from that in terms of like kind of like nostalgic look back on a period of my life, or you know, that I really enjoyed when I was at 13, 14, and just sort of put it to a song to a melody, and wrote it about. How I used to listen to the radio, and now I'm on the radio, so how about that?
Well, that's great, isn't it? And it's double meaning there, brilliant stuff. Yeah. And I love it, because obviously it's got the word radio in it, so it's a shame we just didn't put Target before it, but never mind, you know, you'll learn next time. There we go. Oh, fantastic. Right, Chris, just again, one more time then. Once you've got the CDs all ready, how do we find it, how do we buy it, and how much, do you know how much it's going to be?
Very cheap.
Not too cheap though, because you know you're not a cheap man by any means.
It'll be I don't know, £3 or £4 for a CD. So
sounds
that's
good
not
to
too
me.
bad for a track. And you can find it if you go to the Chords UK Facebook site, and if not, you can go to Bandcamp, the Chords UK, or you can find it at popemusic.co.uk. But it won't be out for another 2 or 3 weeks on that.
There we go. So if you are a fan of Chris Pope's music, or you know somebody that is a fan of Chris Pope and the Chords UK, and you want to get it for someone for Christmas, are you doing any signed copies or anything like that at all?
I can do. I mean, it's I don't know if people want it signed or not signed unless they ask for it when they come onto the site. So that's the easiest thing to do if they can specify that.
Oh, fantastic! There you go. So if you want Chris to sign it, or you know, even personalise it, he may do that for you as well. And that is, you know, that can be a collector's item as well, because you know, if you get things signed, you're probably never going to play it, or if you do play it, you're going to play it at once and treasure it for the rest of your life. And why not, indeed? Right. So I'm going to finish up now. Is there anything I've missed, or anything you want to say?
Billy from the Chords has re-recorded or done a version made with some other band called The Boss. They're bringing that track out, I think, in the new year. So look out for that one.
New Year's Eve present, lovely, or New Year's 2021. Come on,
little plug for me old mate Billy. So that's there. In terms of, like I said, the track's out on December the 4th digitally, and it will be out a week later for everyone else who wants to buy it on CD.
That is brilliant, lovely. And the last thing then, I'm going to, because it's obviously about listening to the radio, you might as well put on your best radio DJ voice now, and I'm going to get you to announce it, and then we're going to play it, Chris, if that's okay?
Yeah, no problem. Okay, this is Chris Pope and the Chords UK, and this is Listen to the Radio.
And why not, indeed. Chris, star, my friend, have a great Christmas, and hopefully this COVID sort of lifts very shortly, and you get back out there and do what you do best, which is showing off with that guitar and playing some real fine music.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having us.
No worries, you're very welcome. Always welcome here, my friend, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Cheers, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye then.
Bye.
There we go, Chris Pope, and should we play it? Why not? It'd be rude not to. What a fantastic tune. And I think I'm with Chris Pope here. This is definitely going to be a double A side, so looking forward to that when it releases in beginning of December. Many thanks to Chris Pope once again for joining us and coming on to Target Radio this evening. And if you are a band or indeed an artist with some brilliant news or a brilliant tune, or you know, just want to come on the radio, why not give me an email? targetradioonline@gmail.com. Phoenix Road is coming up right now. Women Are From Venus. That, of course, is off Smiley's Best of Friends album. And thank you to Steve Smiley Barnard for last week for jumping on Target Radio. And we are turning all of our interviews into Cookies podcasts. So why not indeed? We'll release that, release Smileys. We'll release Chris Pope's next Friday / Saturday. So if you subscribe to Target Radio Podcast, that will be in your, to listen to either Friday evening or Saturday morning. How about that, indeed? Thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening. We've got time for just a few more songs, and we'll do this one. Don't forget, you can join us on Twitter. That's at Target Radio 247, and you'll find complete listings of everything we play after me this evening. Okay, as promised then, let's tell you who's coming up next week here on the show. So first up then, we got two guests, not one, but two. So first up then, we've got Tim Darvell. Or was it Darvall? We'll find out. So he's looking for some exposure and airplay for a charity EP that they've put together. I say they because there's 4 great artists singing the same song, which has been co-written, written by Tim Darvell and then co-sung by good artists. And the artists that we're talking about is Carol Hodge, Kirby Walsh, and mixed by Steve Smiley Barnard. Then version 3 is sung and arranged by Steve Webster. And the 4th version on this brilliant EP is from Jason Bradley and Mike, I'm never going to pronounce that, Dolgozmia? Why do I do this? Anyway, the EP is dedicated to Kelly Smith, a friend that Tim met through the bowel cancer community and died in June, aged just 31. So Tim's basically put this EP out to raise much funds for the charity of bowel cancer. So it'd be my honour and pleasure to host him next week, find out a little bit more about his music, and obviously his inspiration of raising some much needed charity funds to try and help sufferers from bowel cancer to get through on the other side. So that is going to be absolutely fantastic. But wait, there's more. We've also got the very beautiful Miss Nikki Weller. Also gives. Just like Tim, Nikki's always doing something for charity. So Nikki has given me a one-off poster for the event that never took place in Brighton this year about the Young Idea. I went to the one in London, and it's absolutely amazing. All the Jam memorabilia, shoes, their clothes, tour tickets, bus tickets, everything you can think of, and the kitchen sink. She's given me a poster signed by her brother Paul Weller, and we're going to be doing a live raffle on Facebook and, of course, here on Target Radio. So we're going to try and raise some much-needed funds for that. So, 2 guests next week, both giving for charity, working tirelessly to raise money. Tim Darvell and Nikki Weller. And we're back, yes. And what did you think of that for an interview? Wasn't it great? We found out so much. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for joining us for the Target Radio podcast. I am your pod father. That is me, Cookie. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes if you can, please. If you think we deserve it, 5 stars, please. It does help with the future of Target Radio. Check out all of our great shows here on Target Radio. And as I say, please support local artists and the unsigned band. Until next time, thank you very much indeed. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.